It is Y105, Dubuque's #1 hit music station. My name is Steve Pulaski, and my next guest has been active on the comedy circuit for decades, creating some of the funniest cable shows in the modern day. His new show, Mr. Birchum, just premiered on DailyWire Plus. It follows the misadventures of an old-school woodshop teacher. Beyond the show, he's also the host of the most downloaded podcast in history. He is Adam Carolla. Adam, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Birchum just premiered on DailyWire Plus last week. Congratulations for that. That name should be familiar to fans of yours. Dick Birchum from KROQ Yankers. Is this show technically a spin-off? What exactly is Mr. Birchum?
No, I was doing Mr. Birchum years before I did KROQ Yankers. I did Birchum on KROQ radio starting in 1994, and that's what got me onto the radio. And then I took the character and I sort of retired it, and I went and did everything else. And then years later, I did it on KROQ Yankers, but I always wanted to do an animated series with the Birchum. And so finally, 30 years after I invented the character, here we are on DailyWire Plus.
How would you describe the character of Dick Birchum to somebody who's unfamiliar with him?
He's everyone's worst shop teacher kind of nightmare from the 70s. He's kind of... The show takes place in modern times, but he's kind of a throwback guy. And anyone of a certain age will remember their horrible shop teacher they had in junior high. And if you're too young to remember it, ask your dad or your mom about the horrible shop teacher they had in junior high. And that's basically who he is. You know, loves woodworking, hates kids.
One of the big elements of the show is Mr. Birchum's traditional approach with a changing world and such. As a comedian yourself personally, Adam, how do you try and toe the line of being funny without becoming ensnared in the daily outrage machine known as social media?
I've always just sort of subscribed to if I think it's funny, I'm going to say it. It's not a popularity contest, although some people treat it like it's a popularity contest, and it doesn't mean you couldn't be more popular if you treated it like it was a popularity contest. But for me, if I think it and it's funny, then I need to say it. And or if I think it's true, I need to say it. I mean, I got into a lot of trouble during COVID times because I said a bunch of stuff that didn't make me popular, but I happen to believe it was true. I happen to be correct about it, so I talked about it. And that's sort of the job of a comedian. And I never really weigh it out to figure out, you know, if I'm going to get into trouble or how it's going to be taken. I just think if it's what you're thinking, you should be saying it if you're a comedian.
He is Adam Carolla. His new show, Mr. Birchum, is now streaming on DailyWire Plus. Going back to KROQ Yankers, Adam, I watched the show since I was way too young to watch it. I don't think a lot of people know, though, that the production behind that show, the stories, and how you had to go about recording those prank calls. Can you give a little insight into that?
Yeah. They were all made from Las Vegas in a little studio kind of in a strip mall and off the strip, not Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, but a little bit dodgy Las Vegas. And it was illegal to make the calls from California. There's only a certain amount of states back then that you could call without announcing you were being recorded. So we had to go to Nevada to legally do it. And we did go to Nevada and legally make these phone calls to, I don't know, there's like 13 other states, New York and Alaska, that we could call. So we couldn't call every single state. We'd come up with the premise. We would look through the phone book back then and find out all the businesses. We'd line up all the businesses. You know, we'd call them in advance to make sure they were open, you know, that someone would pick up the phone. And then we just sit in a recording studio and roll.
So many iconic characters from that show, too, Adam. Obviously, Elmer, you got Jim Florentine's Special Ed, you have Spoonie Love. Did you have these characters in mind for these particular, voice actors, or did they kind of come up with the character themselves?
There's certain characters characters we had that I think we thought, oh, this guy would be good for this. Dave Chappelle would be good for this character. Other times, the actors, Fred Armisen came up with some of his own stuff. Once in a while, someone would just come out of the woodwork, like Eminem, the rapper, was a huge fan, and he just wanted to do calls as Eminem or just as himself. I don't think he was announcing with Eminem. He just wanted to be him. So he would just be him. It was all kind of catch as catch can. Like Jimmy would do his grandfather, his old character, so he'd do Elmer. Sarah Silverman would have her character. Mostly, I think the talent would kind of come up with their own stuff, but sometimes we'd say, oh, we should get this guy to do that guy.
You directed a movie I really loved several years ago called Road Hard, about a down-and-out sitcom actor and comedian. It's a really funny movie, but it's also deeply sad at times. What made you want to tell that story at that time in your career?
Thanks for watching that. I was sort of living it. I mean, I was experiencing life on the road for the first time, and I was experiencing being off television and sort of having to pay the bills and needing to hit the road and, a lot of coach flights and kind of bad hotels and, shuttle van rides to the airport at 6 a.m. after the gig. And I just sort of was looking at that life. Now, my life wasn't as depressed as that life was portrayed in the movie, but I was really just sort of examining my own life, and I just wanted to tell, like, life on the road comedians. I mean, there's movies made about comedy and comedians and that kind of stuff, but there wasn't, like, life on the road style movies made. So I just had an idea for it, so I just wanted to make it.
Can't recommend Road Hard enough. Again, he is Adam Carolla. You have done stand-up, you've done sketch comedy shows about you testing cars, shows featuring you working as a contractor, catching a contractor. What haven't you done, or what haven't you done that you want to do, Adam?
Yeah, I was thinking about the other day. Now I've done an animated series, a bunch of documentaries, a bunch of books, and a whole bunch of different kinds of TV shows. So I guess I've done most of the stuff. I've really done everything in Hollywood except for make a serious movie, where there was no comedy in it. For me, I just like doing what I'm doing. I should probably do a few more stand-up specials, I think. But, it's such a great job, and there's so much variety, and I get to just do everything, stand-up shows and live podcasts and books and docs and animated series and all that kind of stuff that I just want to keep doing it, really.
He is Adam Carolla. I'm going to give you the final word. Mr. Birchum is streaming on DailyWire Plus. Anything you want to say about Mr. Birchum or promote your social media outlets, other stuff you're working on, Adam? I leave you with the final word.
You can see the first episode for free on DailyWire Plus at Birchum. See if you like it. You don't have to sign up. And you can shoot me a tweet at Adam Carolla. You go to AdamCarolla.com, all the live dates, all the podcasts, it's all there. And it's all free.
He is Adam Carolla. Greatly appreciate your time and wish you nothing but great success.
Thank you.